Sometimes we have to learn and then plateau when we are fine-tuning the subtleties of our own system within what we have learned. And then you push again to the next higher level and the process repeats. And so you just have to keep kind of creeping your skills along. And that's usually not a fast pace, to be honest, especially if it's going to truly change who you are. When we're at our system, when we're at our computer, and we're executing buy and sell orders, it's not an instant change usually. But as we evolve in this world, and as Santiago got deeper in his journey as well, we have to really gain skill and grit to be able to trust ourselves after a loss or a failure moment, a setback, a situation that scares the heck out of you and maybe damages your accounts or takes all your money for a brief period. Then you have to be able to figure out how to get back up again.
Just a quick pause before we get into this. Trading can be intense, and staying mindful during your session matters so much. That's why I created and am sharing a free 3-part audio experience that's helped me deeply. 1 for starting your day with calm intention, 1 to stay centered while you trade, and 1 to wind down with grace when it's time to stop. These tracks are yours. Just click the link in the description.
Hey, welcome back. Here at the Market Mamas podcast, I cover a wide range of topics from the intricacies of day trading to mindset mastery and psychological growth, with the goal of the conversations being next level growth for all of us. My name is Becky, and I'm a US-based futures day trader from the Pacific Northwest. My trading experience includes trading stocks, options, crypto, and futures, with both trading a personal account as well as with prop funding companies. Over time, I found that I most enjoy the fast-paced world of intraday futures trading, so that is my primary day trading focus now. Thank you for joining me on the Market Mamas podcast today.
Hey guys, welcome back to Market Mamas and welcome to 2026. It's wild, right? That it's been an entire year. Like I thought, time's just going to drag on and some days feel so long, but dang, if it didn't just fly by. So here we are in January. Thank you for being here with me at Market Mamas. And I was thinking about what episode would come out in the first of the year. And I recently read a book and I really, really enjoyed it for a lot of reasons that were both personal, but then also translated nicely into my trading. And so I kind of wanted to focus on that book, which I am going to put in my must-read series at Market Mamas, because you guys, it's shorter, but it's really, really good. And it kind of focuses all about the whole idea of having faith over fear. And so for today, I'm going to focus on what the book, The Alchemist, teaches us about the trader's journey. So The Alchemist is a great book that has been around for quite some time. I think a lot of people have heard of it. I certainly heard of it many years ago and it was recommended to me, but I had other books on my list, my queue, and I just hadn't gotten to it yet. And so I recently read it this last December, and it really spoke to me in some really beautiful ways, but then also had great lessons that translate nicely, like I said, into trading. So if you've been trading long enough, you already kind of know that trading is not just a strategy game. It's not just technicals and the candle patterns. It's a lot deeper than that. It's really a psychological journey to get to that really consistent, stable, profitable place. And so when I read that book, it really put language to something that I have seen over and over and over again in my own trading journey, also in the journeys of members of my different various trading cohorts, my trading friends, and also it just kind of speaks to the general emotional and psychological cycles of the profession of trading. And so The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, on the surface, it's kind of just a beautiful story about a shepherd named Santiago chasing a dream. But underneath of it, the undertones of this whole book, it's kind of a blueprint for anyone who's walking along kind of uncertain path at times. And that sentiment, you guys, it really resonates with traders because there's no certainty in the game of trading. It's all effort and perseverance and time and faith and dedication to your goals. And that really was kind of the energy behind this story. Becoming a consistently profitable trader, it takes years. It just does. It's not a week situation. It's not a couple month situation. It's years of truly becoming the person that is consistently profitable month over month. And so to kind of persevere through that, it really does require a faith over a fear. Okay. So like to trust your journey, trust over certainty, because there's no certainty in trading. And you also have to have patience over a force of pushing, of striving, of fighting with the market, of fighting with your system and having aggression and pushing all the time. If you can just have patience and trusting your journey and the fact that all of your experience is building you up into a more strong patient trader, that sort of gentle faith is a lot more powerful in this game than I think it gets credit for, honestly. So today, I want to break down the most powerful themes from The Alchemist, throw in some of the best quotes from the book directly so you kind of get the energy from it, and also translate those lessons into the reality of day trading and trader psychology. And I wanted this episode to start the new year because it's like a nice way of reframing everything that we're going to try and do. I think a lot of us are really fixated on our goals for what we achieved last year, what we want to push into this coming year. And I think now is a great time to also put perspective on the whole journey of it and kind of bring yourself down to a level stance of where you're just going to keep growing, keep building. You don't need any radical changes for most people in general. We just kind of need to shore ourselves up, keep fine-tuning, keep working, keep believing in ourselves. And that's kind of the energy of what we're going to talk about today. So if you're new to Market Mamas, definitely please stick around, see what you think about it. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps just support me at Market Mamas. Like, my name's Becky. I'm the host. I've been around for a couple of years now. And I really appreciate growing this community with you guys and bringing out conversations that I think are valuable. So this episode specifically, it's going to speak to traders potentially that are in a drawdown, traders that are questioning themselves because of various frustrations in this experience that we're going through, or traders that know that they're meant for more, but they haven't quite locked in and arrived there yet. But then also, you guys, if you're a trader who's deep into your career and you enjoy some hindsight reminiscence about the early years and lessons, this is kind of a really nice mental journey through what it feels like to figure out trading success, because it's not a smooth linear situation. And so let's begin where every trading journey starts. So early in The Alchemist, the author gets right into the idea of a personal legend. For us, this really made me think definitely about my own call to becoming a trader. The author introduces the idea of personal legend as the thing that you are meant to pursue. One of the most famous lines in the book is actually, when you want something, all the universe conspires to helping you achieve it. Have you guys experienced that ever? I believe that I have. I've been a trader for over 4.5 years now, and I think that there has been some times where I really questioned my experience, and there's been some little nods, little sayings, little things that people have said to me, little signs that have said, I don't think that I'm done yet, and so keep trying, keep showing up, and here I am, in a very different place than I was my first couple of years. So I know for some traders, if you're newer, if you're more structured and more focused on very reality database situation, you might, hear this and kind of roll your eyes at this whole concept. But I mean, I get it. The markets don't care who you are and what you feel, and they can be brutal and an expensive learning ground to become a successful trader. I do get that. That is a reality, a harsh reality at times of trading, of the market doesn't care what sort of positive energy you have behind you and what sort of sign you saw that you should continue in this. You're still going to have days where you lose, right? But here is a psychological translation of this whole concept of a personal legend. When you commit fully to becoming a trader, not just dabbling or fantasizing, but when you fully commit, your behavior does change. You study differently, you journal more honestly, you face your flaws head on instead of avoiding them or trying to bury them. Your personal legend as a trader, it's not really about the money once you get deep into it. It's more about the mastery. You want to crave to master the skill and potential of a successful trader, of creating that for yourself in your life, in your reality, in your way that you approach the markets. And most traders quit not because they can't trade, but because the road is longer with honestly way more peaks and valleys than I anticipated in my early trading career. But it's longer. It's longer than maybe your belief system initially thought you needed to endure for. And that, I think, is true for a lot of us. But just like Santiago, who is the main character in the story, some of us will feel the pull towards something before you can fully explain it. And for some of us, I think trading chooses us before we fully choose it in all aspects, if you know what I mean. You start to trade and then there's a statistic, right? A ton of traders quit. But those of us that don't quit and that persevere, there's an energy behind that. There's a calling, there's a pull towards the success of it, towards the potential, towards being strong enough to endure the pain that comes from the early losses and the fears that you could experience. And so if you can answer that call and kind of rise up and think about it and get hooked on it, then you can't unsee it. for me, I couldn't unsee the desire to continue as a trader and really pursue all of the heights that I could seek in this situation. So now if you've been with me here at Market Mamas for any length of time, you've undoubtedly heard me mention faith over fear many times. And that is a sentiment, a sentiment, an energy. It's something that I really lean into as a trader so much, especially in the early phase of my career pursuit. And I think it's so valuable as a concept because it allows you to hold on essentially during the periods of drawdown, of fear, of concern, of worry. And so in relating that to this book, The Alchemist, early in the story, Santiago leaves the comfort of a kind of a nice, sweet life of a shepherd. He leaves that piece for uncertainty. And he's very good at what he does. He's a very content flock of sheep. He's got a system. He is working through life. He has a lot of peace and freedom in his life early in the story, but he chooses to chase, something different and go into the uncertainty and do his best. And, so here's a line that hits really good for traders. It reads, "There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible, the fear of failure." So let's be honest. Most traders don't fail because of bad strategy necessarily. They fail because fear hijacks your execution and your intended dedication to a system. There is a lot of ways to make money in the market. There's a lot of trading systems that are successful. There's ways to strategize and create a trade plan that will work more times than it won't. But the reason why a lot of traders don't end up making that consistent P&L is because they fear fully trusting it, and you don't really delve into the full work of holding onto your system and executing and trusting probabilities and allowing small red days to just be a part of the game and not letting poor choices sneak into that. Instead, we can fear pulling the trigger in the first place on your strategy, or then pull it too late. You can fear being wrong and having that make you make all kinds of adjustments that you shouldn't necessarily. You can fear giving back profits so you can get out too soon and then cut yourself short. You can fear looking stupid in front of your peers if it's in a situation where you're trying to share your trades. Fear can cause hesitation and over trading. It can cause revenge trading. It can cause strategy hopping when maybe you didn't need to. Maybe you just needed to keep working on the system that you had. It leads to a lot of choices that are not based in strategy and faith and perseverance and patience. But faith in trading, it doesn't mean blind optimism. It means trusting your process before it actually fully pays you. It means you can trust executing on your trade setups, even when the outcomes are uncertain, even if you're not sure if you're going to win or lose. But based on backtesting, you have the information that means that this should be a profitable trade more times than not. But you need to have the faith in order to execute on that, right? You need to have the faith to stay consistent to your rules and risk management and your trading plan, even through emotional discomfort. Say you're trading and you're locked out because your rules say, I'm only going to have this as my max daily loss. And when that triggers, you stop trading for that day because you made these rules on a rational day and you want to be able to honor that as part of your risk management and your trading rules. So staying consistent to that, even when it hurts to be locked out and it's frustrating and you're mad. Trusting your system is a faith-based situation because you believe in what you have created and the success rate over time. But the market is going to test this faith all the freaking time. Relentlessly, your faith in your process is going to be tested. And so just like Santiago in the story, you don't and you shouldn't try to necessarily eliminate the fear, but instead, I think we have to reframe that like he did. And there was many moments within the story where he was very stressed out and worried and unsure of the path ahead. But instead of fearing that failure and trying to eliminate it, trying to create and live in a happy, safe little bubble where you don't have that, you can learn to walk with it and respect the fact that it's going to be there. It's a game that we're in, but not let it have too much control. So I want to get into this next part of the book, which is really interesting. It's reading the Omens. And that is such an interesting concept. I don't know if everyone has on their radar or in their thought process about omens in life, but let me take a few minutes on it and kind of cover it because it was really interesting for me. And this is a newer concept in recent years for me personally, because I didn't, think about omens in life as a child. But I really like it, how it correlates to trading and reading market information. If you kind of back up and twist it around a little bit. So it's one of the more misunderstood ideas of the book, The Alchemist, is the omens within it, because I think not everyone is raised with it, as I wasn't. But in recent years, I'm really starting to like kind of lean in to what it is. So let's talk about it more. One quote from author Coelho is, "Learn to recognize omens and follow them." So that was part of what the main character had to kind of work through early in this book, because a lot of his journey is kind of guided through omens. And so this concept is a common thread woven all throughout this tale of the alchemist. And so I want to clarify it. Omens are not like magical signs. It's not like some crazy like woo-woo, there's going to be a shining word in the sky that says something. It's more subtle information, but you have to really be kind of calm and patient, a little bit quieter in your mind to be present enough to see them. So, such as like even in trading in your day, an omen could read and feel like just market context and structure and the general layout of the market. It could be you're watching the candle pattern and you see the momentum hesitating and starting to hold, and you can kind of feel an energy there. It could be figuring out how to recognize volume behavior and how that plays into which candles have different meanings at different levels. And then even just like your emotional state, for better or worse. You know, sometimes if you're starting to lean in a certain emotional way, that can be an indication of your energy with trading that you need to maybe deal with. And I think the mistakes that traders can make is forcing meaning where there isn't any, though. So I definitely don't want you to think that you can find an omen anywhere and then trust it wholeheartedly. That's not what this is. More so like in the story. So the lead character, Santiago, he doesn't chase every sign or every little inclination, but more so he has like this maturity and like this patient to wait, observe, consider all the options, and then really get in alignment with one of the signs when it's genuinely indicated, when it's powerful and more clear and it has higher energy with it. So let's think about how this could be like an actionable training parallel, because I think it's really important as traders to recognize that our job is not at all to predict the market necessarily. Instead of thinking that you can figure out a system for predicting, it's better to think about trading as responding to the data as it develops in real time. So being ready to interpret that information as it comes at you and what that might mean and how that fits into your system. Because the best traders don't trade the most. Instead, they trade when their information aligns with their preparation. When they witness the evidence on their charts of a certain trade setup with a high probability of success per their edge, right? It's kind of akin to stars aligning for an ideal opportunity. The whole, your energy, your day, your situation can really get in sync with an opportunity. And then that's when it's the time to kind of jump, per se. So reading the omens and trading, it's a subtle intuition kind of energy. So you need to have some emotional neutrality, right? You can't be in any high emotional swing or that's going to skew everything. You want to lean into pattern recognition that you have studied and that you understand to the best of your ability. Also having some patience so that you can be focused and be able to take the data that's coming at you in and assimilate it into your trading system. And then, do your best technical trades, but based on having patience and letting the data come to you and see how it all plays out and correlates before you put your leverage on the line. And you can't read the market clearly when your nervous system, when your energy, when your hormones are panicked. And then that puts you into a distraction. It puts you in an emotional state where you're not even able to take in the data and assimilate it appropriately. You really have to try to be patient to receive. Okay, so as the story, The Alchemist, deepens, when we get deeper into the story, it gets into the kind of, there's a longer period in the middle. And that, with trading, is where most traders quit, is the longer middle part where you have to have that perseverance. And it's such an important and hard part of the book for the main character, Santiago, as well. It's the middle. It's the space in time after the excitement fades, after the early wins and the hype and the big dreams that you are sure you're going to achieve by 6-month points. It's that period where the excitement has settled and your dream is not yet realized. So the author writes, people learn early in their lives what is their reason for being. And so I think learning what you want to do, such as becoming a consistently profitable trader, it doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to achieve it quickly. This is where traders struggle most often. I think, the early dreams and goals and starry eyes and the big house you're going to get and all the trips you're going to take every other month. When the reality sets in of transitioning yourself into a consistently profitable trader, the months turn into years. Like, it just takes a chunk of time to really dial it in. And your progress at times will feel invisible. And your confidence is going to rise and then collapse at certain periods. And you're going to have to hold through that. I mean, when I was thinking about this book, it really resonated with me, that period. It's the phase where your discipline is challenged, and then you have to adjust it, rebuild it, make it stronger time after time. Your emotional resilience is forged through the pain that you'll experience. Your identity is slowly going to shift from a hoping trader to a professional. It does happen, but it doesn't happen overnight. Trading consistently is not a breakthrough moment. More, it's a quiet accumulation of aligned behavior. Just like Santiago working at the crystal shop for nearly a year in the heart of the story, every phase that you're going through is preparing you. Even when it doesn't look like success, sometimes we have to learn and then plateau when we are fine-tuning the subtleties of our own system within what we have learned. And then you push again to the next higher level, and the process repeats. And so you just have to keep kind of creeping your skills along. And that's usually not a fast pace, to be honest, especially if it's going to truly change who you are when we're at our system, when we're at our computer, and we're executing buy and sell orders. It's not an instant change usually. But as we evolve in this world, and as Santiago got deeper in his journey as well, we have to really gain skill and grit to be able to trust ourselves after a loss or a failure moment, a setback, a situation that scares the heck out of you and maybe damages your accounts or takes all your money for a brief period. Then you have to be able to figure out how to get back up again. Because losses and setbacks are inevitable in trading as well as in the story of this book. And the author kind of gives us a nice reminder here where every blessing ignored becomes a curse. It's a quote from the book. Every blessing ignored becomes a curse. So losses that you ignore, they emotionally they can feel like trauma. They can cause hesitation. They can cause self-doubt. But losses, if you take them and you integrate them into your system, then they can become powerful. They can be feedback and data, and they can be the catalyst to help strengthen and improve your system. But the trader who avoids the pain, who buries it, who hides it, who doesn't want to think about it even more to consider the lessons, but just wants to move on to greener pastures, if you avoid that pain, you're not going to grow, at least nowhere near as fast as if you use that to help change the issues that you're having in your trading. The trader who studies that pain will evolve. Trusting yourself doesn't mean avoiding losses, but instead it means you can have a red daily P&L and still come back and feel confident with your system and execute the next day to the best of your ability and your trading system. You can be wrong in a trade and remain confident overall because you know that you are a growing trader who studies and works hard. You can reset emotionally as many times as you need to without an emotional carryover necessarily. You can have a hard day and feel that, and then do what you need to do to steady yourself depending on what brings you that peace. And know that you are good next time you go to execute. Just have patience and faith and peace with it. And just know that you want to execute your system. I think that self-trust really is built through drawdowns, not before them. Like trying to just be confident all the time, but not having experienced this hard middle part is not as powerful. But after falling on your face and feeling like a real pain time and again, but you decide to get back up each time and study and consult your mentors, journal it out, hear the lessons of that struggle day, have it revise your system, your training system, and you keep on keeping on, like that is how you become a trader who really can trust yourself, because you know that even if you have a bad day, it's not going to be a huge setback and it's going to teach you. And so that will help you be more trustworthy of your own self as a trader. And that's really important and valuable. Okay, so as the story in The Alchemist was rounding out, I really, really love the concept that an arrival is not the end. So as The Alchemist was nearing its close, Santiago, the main character, realizes something really powerful. And it's that the treasure that he sought, it was real, but the journey and how his life developed and changed and blossomed through it mattered so much more than the actual treasure. The author wrote, "The secret of life is how to fall 7 times and get up 8 times." And that quote is in this book. Beautiful, right? And that is trading. A period of profitability as a trader doesn't end your journey as a trader. Honestly, it really is just part of the beginning. It leads you to so much more growth and expansion. It can teach you that success is possible. So then you dig into the work of how to make it even bigger, even better. It can help you cultivate and maintain stronger discipline because you know that that was a factor in the way that you won before. It can help you frame how you want to scale your leverage responsibly, and that leads to larger days. It can help you manage your ego as the profits begin to compound because you're approaching it from a more level, patient place that you respect what brought you here and what is still building. And so to not let your ego, blossom too fast, and to recognize that consistency is not a destination, but it's a practice. It's a core strategy in life and on the charts. And the trader who survives long term, it's the one who never stops listening to all the feedback and adjusting as needed at each important sign. If you notice you're having multiple days that are really taking you out, listen to that data. Let it make you think, what in the heck am I missing? What is going on here? Why am I hitting this roadblock time and time again? And that pause, that questioning your system and your struggles will force you to adjust and learn and pivot. And I think that is a perfect example of seeing a sign in your trading. And it's not necessarily some random whatever. It's more so just it's in the back of your mind of what is happening? Why does this keep happening? And then you decide, I'm going to target this head on and figure out how to stop it. And so then you study and you revise your system. And in that way, you had a sign that was saying something here needs attention. And then you targeted that and changed. And so that is a method of approaching this entire thing as a journey of hearing little inklings of where you need to keep growing and then listening to that and making the adjustments that you want to have. And so that's the thing about me at Market Mamas. I want to make every episode that I can have some actionable takeaways for anyone who is watching, for any trader that's here who likes to think about the journey, who is in the middle of a journey and is trying to really push through their boundaries. I want to talk about how we can make it actionable day to day, week to week, so that we can get to our biggest success. And so I just want to throw some of these out here and kind of ground the sentiments of this whole episode today with some actions that we can do. So here are 5 practical exercises, if you're interested, that are inspired by The Alchemist, the book. So one idea is to define your personal legend as a trader. So I want you to consider and think about a sentence here and finish it honestly when you're journaling sometime. And especially at the start of the new year, right? This is a great time to frame up what our biggest goals are in this pursuit that we're going for. So you can write, I trade because I'm committed to becoming someone who fill in the blank. And so that could be a lot of things for you, but it generally isn't necessarily a bottom line P&L, but maybe someone who trusts their system and expands and is able to create and execute consistently on a successful system that really embraces everything that we want to build in our role as traders. So another thing that you could do is trade with faith and not hope. So think about that differently just when you're approaching your trading. So faith is executing per your plan. You believe in yourself and the system that you have established and studied and created and know that you're adjusting as needed. So it's reliable in the fact that it is fluxing with the data that you're getting day over day because you're keeping it up to the level of what's going on with the market. Hope is wishing the market will save you and will give you profit because you really show up and you want to win. You want this very badly. Faith is reliable. Hope is just a dream without work behind it. So only one of those really belongs in trading. So really try to focus on having faith in your system. It will help you execute a little bit more consistently if that is a part of your whole approach to your trading system. Now, this next one is kind of really led from The Alchemist, but if you can focus on trying to read the omens without forcing trades. So after each session, incorporate into your journaling practice these questions. What information did I see in real time? And what of that information did I ignore or miss and why? Was I not present? Was I distracted? Was there a general subtle change in the market that could have shown you that your trade was approaching resistance. And if you were long, it was showing hesitation and a rejection repeatedly at a potential resistance zone. Did you not see that in order to protect yourself and get out of your trade potentially? Or what happened in the day where in hindsight you could have seen it better, and recognizing, is there something that I can try to catch sooner? Why did I potentially force a trade or hold a trade too long or not respect my risk parameters in a certain situation? If you can see evidence of that in your trading day, kind of critically think about why that happened, what you could have seen in the moment, and how that maybe would have made you adjust your trade management. And then that can give you good data that can potentially help you revise your trading system and make it more powerful and reliable. And then I think, you guys, another thing to think about as a trader is trying your best, which I know is hard, but try your best to respect the long middle. So you kind of got to give yourself grace with this whole concept and measure your progress more so, not in a P&L, but more so in like your ability to emotionally regulate during your trading session, which is a huge period of growth that we all can do better with, honestly. You can measure it in terms of rule and risk management adherence. Are you getting better at following your rules and your risk management, about trusting your hard stops that protect your accounts and following how you intend to execute by not blowing accounts as readily and by respecting all kinds of risk management, a personal stop loss, a daily stop loss, a trade rules that you need to follow, setup that you need to wait to see XYZ before you enter a trade? Are you getting more consistent with adhering to that plan? And then also with the plan, also process consistency. Are you doing your same pre-market routine day over day and creating a trade plan before you get into a trade? That way you have an established expectation and intentions for managing that trade. If you're following that process more and more consistently, that is a great evolution as a trader. And so it's not really about P&L alone. It's more so try to have a stance of seeing how you are changing and becoming the consistent trader that will get the P&L over time, but you need to change into the person that the money just flows to because of the behaviors that you follow. And so the last strategy here that I want to kind of advise based on this whole conversation is building your trust through recovery. Because your edge is not necessarily in avoiding losses, but more so there's edge in how quickly and cleanly you can recover. Because losses are going to happen in trading, and keeping them contained and recovering as quick as possible is a massive way to build your trust, because you know that you can get back up again and your survival rate is 100%, and you will over time be safe and build your accounts if you can just follow this risk, right? So the book, The Alchemist, it is not at all a trading book, but it might be one of the most honest books about the inner journey required to cultivate true faith in oneself to the goal of mastering anything. It really, it's kind of wild what this character has to experience in this journey in order to get to the treasure at the end. And it's beautiful and wild and dramatic and interesting, and it makes you just want to gobble the next chapter, because what is he going to go through? And I think that if you've been a trader for more than a year or two, that's going to resonate with you, because the things that we have traded through, the setbacks and the heartaches that you likely have experienced as well, it's a journey also. And you are trying also to grow through that and cultivate a faith in yourself and your system so that you can master trading. And the author reminds us that the path reveals us before it rewards us. And so, in the journey to profitability as traders, we'll have to face our innermost demons straight in the mirror. It's going to be on the computer in bright red often, what the outcome of your demons are. And you have to face it. You have to decide what to do with the situation that you get in on your hardest days as a trader. And in those moments, you can fold and slide back to comfortable, easy life that wasn't as stressful, but didn't have the same potential, but it was more comfortable when you weren't a trader, when you weren't striving for these big, beautiful outcomes that not everyone has the guts to hold to. But you also, in those moments, you can choose to press and see what you truly can achieve and experience far beyond where you have been so far in your life. You can trust to try and work your butt off and pursue everything that you know to build a stronger trader, to really actively pursue those choices and that growth and see what you can do. So if you're still here at this point in the episode, thank you. But also that means that you're still dedicated to this. So you're still studying, you're still showing up. Your journey is unfolding exactly how it should because you're still actively pushing towards the success that you know you want. And so I really, really encourage you guys to stay faithful to your process and to the process of creating success as a trader and to listen to what your feedback is giving you day over day and catch the signs from that and let it shore you up. Let it direct you into ways to become stronger. Keep waking up and pushing through whatever day you're going to have. Keep studying and executing and processing your experiences and your emotions and what days you're having and choosing to take the lessons from those days and evolve through that experience because everything in life is just experience. And if we can instead be thankful for the experiences that we're getting and help them make us stronger over time, that is a recipe for success in trading and in any kind of interesting, unique journey, such as with this book. So if you've never read this book, The Alchemist, a good friend recommended it to me. It was at a time that I needed to get out of my head. This last December, some things happened and it was a nice time for me to have a story that was beautiful and inspiring. And I'm really thankful that I pulled it out of my queue where it's been for years and did read it. And when I did, I enjoyed it much more than I can say. And it really is a tale. It's a beautiful tale of a young man from centuries ago in a faraway land pursuing his personal legend as it was actively kind of wildly evolving. It absolutely spoke to my inner journey for me, really quite a bit about what I am pursuing as a person, as a trader, even as a podcaster here with you guys. There's, my numbers are fine, but they're nothing earth shattering in terms of subscribers and comments and whatever. But there's a faith in me putting out content that I think might inspire and support people. And so anyways, this story was kind of a beautiful inspiration for my own dedication to my personal legend and the destinations that I have yet to make it to. But I know that I'm on the path towards. I believe in myself because I've seen my trading evolve. I've seen the payouts as a result, but then also just the knowledge that I have gained and my ability to speak to it and share it with people who it might also benefit. And so that path for me has been assisted by little things that have supported me, such as even this book, honestly. So thank you for being here with me at Market Mamas. I really appreciate everyone, all of you. And so please, if you have a moment, just quick throw in a comment about, did you read this book previously? Do you love it? Are you interested? Where are you at in your personal journey? Because I love getting to know other traders who are also working through this. And I hope that if anyone did read this book, I didn't give away too many secrets, but I did it justice also in relating it to our trading journey without giving away, all the beautiful subtleties that are in it, and you guys need to read for yourself if you haven't read it. But anyways, how are you guys? How is your trading going? How is your journey? How are you doing in persevering through potentially the middle or the hard moments? If you haven't read this book, check it out. I did put a link in the description so you can find it and order it if you need to. Make it easy. Because this also is a Market Mama's must-read episode, so I have to ask, please hit me in the comments if you have any recommendations on books for me to read, because some of my very favorite books are recommendations from you all and good friends. And so please type those in the comments and let me know so that me and anyone else, viewing this episode today can see your recommendations as well. Okay, traders, I know that this journey is hard for us sometimes. And we're approaching this new year. It is the beginning of 2026 when I'm recording this episode. And I think if you really feel like you can do this in trading, I would encourage you to not quit. I would encourage you to work on that faith in yourself and your system and your dedication and your perseverance, because there's power in that, in just not giving up when the journey is hard. I think that Miss Market really is abundant. Even if you're in a drawdown period, I have enough faith for all of us, in you, in me, in the journey of a trader who just keeps showing up. So I think we can all just do our best to mind our risk always and continue to work and improve our system and pursuing our dreams. That's my energy. That's where I'm at. That's how I'm approaching 2026 is, not so much with really hard specific goals that I do have and I have modified as I'm growing, but more so with a continued dedication to my journey and what I know feeds it and improves it and is making me stronger as a trader and as a person, and is going to keep just bringing light and growth into my journey. So I wish that for all of us. And Happy New Year. Take care, everyone.